This principle is called isolation of motion, controlling what's moving on screen in order to keep the audience's eye looking where you want them to look and avoid their eyes getting drawn to other places on the frame where the gag isn't playing out. Here is a piece of animation from a Bueno chocolate commercial ad.
Bueno, platilito, zibunji.
Let's analyze this piece of animation and see what's working and where it could be strengthened. We start on the wide shot, we see both aliens, and the one holding the chocolate bar raises the chocolate up, which is going to draw our eye to this character. Our eyes are attracted to motion. They did not move this character, which is exactly what you want because we're about to cut in. So now, let's tap through the frames exactly as it plays out. There's a slight antic, and the character leans away from where the chocolate is, in anticipation of chomping on the chocolate. But as the character continues his lean this way, the arm actually pushes the chocolate out this way. So within one piece of animation, what you have is two competing motions of action, meaning your eye is going to be drawn in two directions. Then the alien's going to release its tongue like a whip to snap onto the chocolate and eat it out of the air, which is a great idea, but the head is moving that direction, the tongue is also moving that direction, the chocolate is also moving that direction, meaning you're not going to get the snappiness of this tongue. The overriding motion of the head moving in the same direction is stepping on the tongue. How could you use isolation of motion to highlight and feature that aspect of the character in a more comedic effect and manner? First thing I would have done is cheated this background to create more airspace behind the character where that gag is going to play out. I redrew the pose to try to push the line of action farther away from the chocolate bar, but instead of the character leaning away as it did in the original animation, drawing our eye to that side of the screen, I thought just have the alien open his mouth, boing! This motion is going to keep our eyes here, then introduce the tongue, it snaps out, but instead of just having the tongue pull it right back into the alien's mouth, what you want is the tongue to settle for just a sliver of a beat. It takes the human eye roughly about a quarter to a half a second to react to something, generally 8 to 14 frames. Then the tongue antics and pulls it back into his mouth. And in this version, I didn't move the arm farther away. I just allowed the tongue to have the spotlight in terms of isolating the motion. Then alien can collapse into himself because we've completed that action. This is the chomp. And that is going to create a funnier pop because we've isolated the motion,